And good evening. We are
Hello.
back for another episode here. I'm still getting a little organized. I'm getting the chat popped out and everything like that.
Yeah, I got that.
Go
While you're
ahead
doing
and
while you're
pull
doing that,
There we go.
I gotta say what's up. What's up to brother 108 Dragons TV, one of our
Yeah,
games.
we got Brother
Guild
Lemon in
members.
here tonight. I don't
We
know that I've
do.
ever had Brother Lemon in chat. Honestly,
No.
I've seen some of the others, but I don't know if I've seen Brother Lemon pop up.
Yeah, and
It's good to see you. There's Carla.
And he is
And coming
recovering.
on just a
There's
smidge late
Rob.
is Rob, MrMatthews.
Hello.
He's
So we have
recovering
a
from
full crew here.
Yeah, he's recovering from surgery. So prayers have been
Yeah,
thankfully
I
answered,
sent him
so
some good
hopefully-
vibes a little bit earlier. Everybody in chat wished Lemon a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
He had to go in for a surgery, and so yeah, he's been on the mend happily, but we'd like to see him get better faster.
Yes. Need 100% because we need that Dragon's Den on Saturday night, brother.
And we have
We
Dyer
need
in
that
here. We have Games in here. Carlo's in here, already asking where Rob was. We know where she's looking.
Well, you want to be RetroRoots, the little guy down here on the bottom. So,
Mr. Carla. Hold on, I will get to everybody else.
Oh, we got Speed King in here as well. I like the new icon, by the way. I don't remember that one. That's cool. I like that a lot. Who else do we have in here? We had Scepter in here a little earlier. I don't know if he's still in here right now. 21 Sandwich is here. Slav is in here.
Good evening.
So we've got a good crowd tonight. We've got a really good crowd for what's essentially just going to be us kind of reminiscing with you guys a little bit. Because I was really bad about getting organized. And then Rob reminded me, hey, we've been on for like a year. And I'm like, oh my God, really?
I don't even know what possessed me to look. I was like, how long have we been doing this? So I actually went back and I saw our first air date was like on the 3rd or the 4th of last year. And I ended up watching that first show. And our first show was really good. I was kind of, it still holds up.
It's only gone downhill since then.
It's only gone downhill since then.
Everyone after that has been kind of a tie for the worst, but
you know, Scepter is still here. Joshua Jose Perez is in here. Thank you very much for popping in.
Wait, did I?
The chat is filling up, man. They are popping tonight. This is fantastic. It is awesome to see everybody tonight. Thank you for popping in with us on a Monday.
Yes. I'm catching up with saying hi to everybody too. So if I hadn't yet, don't take it personally.
Please don't take it personally. As you guys pop in and organize, we're not saying hi. We're saying hi as fast as we can. We're still trying to get ourselves organized today.
Yeah, it's been a day.
This weekend was interesting. So
it's been a day.
We'll go around and I'll go into what I did the other day, and you'll understand why I'm a little punch drunk today and a little.
You know what? We need our chat today.
Yep, and
we need you guys today.
I'll kind of pull up something on the screen here. I keep folders of like all the topics we covered with various different thumbnails for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So I have most of these, I think, except for like the first 3. All in like folders, so we can kind of like just hit highlights and talk about what we enjoyed about what kind of went along the year to just sort of help us organize a little bit, right, as we go over it. If anybody else has anything random you want to discuss or questions you want to ask us or things you just want to talk about, then feel free to throw that up in chat, and we're totally open for going over that too. This is going to be kind of a loose, just kind of take it as it is kind of episode, just to kind of hang out with you guys and spend some time with you guys, which is something we love doing every other week. We're always thrilled when you guys come in and hang out. It's always a fun time to be able to sit here and have the 3 of us chit chat back and forth and interact with you guys this way. Mm-hmm. So absolutely. Why are we wearing clothes? These are fair questions, sir. And here's Rhea. Thank you, Rhea. Thank you for popping in. It's good to see you. It's good to see you back. I hope your vacation went well. I saw that you were out of town for a while. Carlos says hi to brother Mike. So before we get fully ramped up,
hold on. Wait.
Yeah, Nick, you've been talking long enough. Let Mike say something.
Well, no. It's not lost on me, and hopefully not lost on Rob. that Nick's background is Toe Jam and Earl.
We talked about Toe Jam and Earl on the first
show.
That's exactly why I did it. It was one of our earliest episodes, and I thought I would go back to that.
Do you really wanna?
We should.
My head says no, my heart says suck it up. So, you know, I'm of two minds here. So what did you guys do this weekend? Mike, you want to
go? I'll let Rob go first. It's been a weekend.
Okay, Rob.
I spent all weekend editing a video, a really short one, so nothing amazing. But it ended up being the most complicated bit of editing I've done, so hopefully it was worth the time that I spent. And then when I wasn't doing that, by the way, Panda sub was my technical support during all that. And I have a feeling that he's probably the de facto video tech support guy for the community.
He is one of our editing gurus that we go to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought it was really clever to go into Panda, but just reading between the lines of what he says, I was like, I'm not the first one that's asked you questions, am I?
No. Occasionally I'll spit out an idea to him, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you do this?" And I'm like, "Okay, let me try to figure that out." He's like, "You know what? Send me some files." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, I have a feeling that if he could remotely tie into my computer, like the tech support people do, he would have done that. So
yeah, he probably would have had it fixed already. Yes.
Yeah.
And Lance Jennings is in the house, and so is Brian F. He popped in a little earlier, so we got two more people popping in tonight.
All right.
So yeah, I heard you told me in Discord that you were kind of struggling with the short you were working on. You said it was like
it's not really
working on a short video.
Very time consuming. And hopefully you'll at least understand why when it finally comes out, which hopefully shouldn't be too long. It's just a very high concept, very little content kind of video. So hopefully it was worth the time. And when I wasn't doing that, I'm trying to finish up the Fire Emblem so I can move on to other games on the Wii U. So that's how I spent my weekend.
Fair enough. Mike, do you want to go next, or you want me to go and then you go?
No, I'll go. So I spent most of this weekend assisting my son with his Eagle project, trying to build a shed. We spent at our synagogue. There's an old broken down shed that got rained in, and the roof tore off and destroyed, half the stuff in it. So Jacob's project was to tear that down and to build a new one. Tearing it down was easy. Building it, we got about 2 more days left to get it built. We thought we'd have it pretty well built with 10 or 12 scouts and some adults on Sunday. No. So we got a couple more weekends left to do it. And then Sunday night, I got snookered into joining my old band I used to play with long ago. I used to be part of a band called Mood Swings. They were a big band, and kind of morphed into, big band and then some rock and pop and stuff like that. And it's a good 20, 24 piece band. And I retired when Seth was born because 2 kids, the schedule and all that. And while the piano player that replaced me is still there, I came in last night to one of their rehearsals just to sing, just as a vocalist. And when I was done, it turns out it's because the other vocalist, I've sung with them before when I filled in, the other vocalist went to the band leader and said, "Can Mike come sing with us more?" And so I got snookered into rejoining the band as vocalist and fill-in piano player. So I'm going to get a little busier as we go. But the money's always good with those.
Hey, it's money and it's something you enjoy doing. So
it is something.
Before we
I
go
love it.
too much
Hold on.
further, I
They
want to
have
thank
to-
Mockingjay for the raid. Ask the Cheese
Raid!
just popped in from Mockingjay's stream, so thank you very much, guys, for popping in and hanging out. And Carla had a question that I'm going to bring back up as soon as I found it again. And she already had a question for us on who approached who first for RetroRoots. And my memory is fuzzy, so if you guys feel free to correct me, but I think I approached Rob first about wanting to do a joint project because we've been wanting to collaborate on something before. And then we sort of talked about it and we wanted to bring in Mike because I hadn't been able to do anything with Mike either. And Rob was good with Mike pretty much from the get-go.
Thank God.
He's the only one of us that is.
I'm not even good with me sometimes.
That's what people say about me. Actually, because I didn't know Mike, because I was. We'll just rip the curtain all the way off. So you guys know each other from is it the Amico community?
Yeah, that's how we first met. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not part of that. I've never actually had any kind of position one way or the other on the Amico. So I didn't know Mike. So Nick, when he wanted to do this podcast, said, "Hi, this guy Mike, I know. I think you guys might actually hit it off. Why don't we just kind of hang out and we'll just have our own little chat, our own little private podcast together and see if there's any kind of chemistry at all." And we all sat down. And it was pretty much just like it was this kind of show, that level of, I guess, intimacy between the three of us. Yeah,
True
not all of my
suggestions
for collaboration go over well. But Nick was the one that kind of was the spearhead. He was the one who kind of got the band together, as it were. He introduced Mike and I.
I really wanted to do kind of a joint project because I had kind of been wanting to do more stuff with Mike at the time too. And I really wanted to do something broad because me and him kind of gotten to know each other pretty well. And I wanted to do something collaboratively that we could kind of all get behind. And this kind of, I'm like, well, what do you guys think about a podcast? And they're like, cool. Well, what do we want to cover? And I'm like, well, I mean, we started spitballing ideas. And the idea was to call it RetroRoots because the original concept of it, which we really haven't done a lot of the modern gaming aspect of it that I originally had envisioned for it, was to kind of take a look back at where we all kind of started gaming and even before that sometimes depending on age group, etc., and look at how that's influenced things moving forward in the industry and how it kind of continues to influence things as we move forward. So that was sort of the concept, the genesis of the name and the idea behind the podcast. Right now it's primarily just been kind of a retro podcast with a little bit of new stuff. Because honestly, Mike enjoys talking retro and Rob hates modern for the most part. So it pretty much sticks into the retro realm of things, but that's fine. We have our kind of groove on it. We enjoy it. If it moves to where we're kind of blending the two a little bit, that's fine too. I think I'm the one of us that probably, well, outside of Mike plays a decent amount of like modern video games. But I do more in like the VR space and some of that stuff than I think Mike does actually.
Well,
for the most part right now.
I don't do the Oculus, the Meta. I'm sorry, I don't do the Meta as much. Although I am still considering.
I hate that name.
I know. I'm still considering commandeering Jacob, my oldest.
Nick raged until we said yes.
Honestly, he didn't get really that angry until we started doing a show. Then the anger started coming out more and more on his own stream. So I think bringing it out of him. I don't know. He was still nice and mild-mannered before. That's why I said yes for the.
He's got buyer's remorse now.
No, actually, because I knew. I guess we can go back a little further. So Nick and I know each other because we each got a mutual shout out from CM Retro, and he's the one that comes in here periodically. I wear his shirt. You guys probably all know CM Retro. He's kind of a. He
hit 5,000 subs, by the way, just
recently.
I saw that. So congratulations for that.
Something of a pillar of the community. He brings a lot of people together. He doesn't even take or get enough credit for that. However, Nick and I started hanging out. That's when Nick was streaming. When I first started watching Nick, he was only streaming Mario Maker, and
oh god,
he had.
Why you ever spoke to me as a miracle? That was not a good time.
You only had kids on in your chat. I felt like I was the only one who was your age that would talk to you. What's up, on me? So that's he is a rad dude. I like him a lot. So that's where Nick and I started hanging out, and I've been watching Nick's streams ever since. So even for like a year before we started doing the show, I think.
Probably, yeah. You started hanging out pretty regularly, and I started watching your content.
Mm-hmm.
And I was immediately like, oh my god, why does this guy have more subs?
I don't know where that story was going. I was trying to. Yeah, Zombie wants me to get to the point, and I do have a tendency to ramble. The point is to reminisce about the good old days.
Rambling, you're telling a story.
Fair question.
Darker side of YouTube.
That's a lovely story.
Behind the glitz, behind the glamour is the truth of YouTube.
And you tell it so well.
Such feeling.
So
Army Light Studios popped in. We do have Mocking Jay, who have waved at, haven't officially said hi to. Lance obviously popped in. We said hi to Lance. As the Cheese Gaming is in here. So we got more and more people kind of popping in. People kind of flitting in and out, kind of doing their thing. So that's cool.
I like that name, by the way.
Who gets the angriest out of us?
I think we all know the answer to that.
We all know the answer to that. That is.
I have plenty of. I have like.
That is what
I've been saving clips of you, Nick.
I know. You have one of me just sitting there for like 3 seconds and then going, "Fuck."
That's one of my favorite ones. Is you losing your shit on the Mega Man X2 stream. But yeah, whenever you do something really funny, I do kind of go back through. I just save it real quick, just in case I need it to blackmail you later on.
It became a meme that day. To be fair, when that hit, I had already been pounding my head against that jump sequence for like.
That was one of my clips. It wasn't a meme. I mean, that was a Mr. M original. So
okay.
I don't want to take the wind out of your sails when you're not that famous yet.
That's fair.
But if you let me keep on clipping you, we'll get you there. So I got some doozies.
I'm not going to give you a hard time about it. I had been pounding on that stage for easily 45 minutes when that came out. And I had been trying to stay calm the whole time. And I was just past it.
Can we play it? Can we just do that? The chat needs to see how funny it is.
Do you have the clip up that you can?
I'll drop it to you.
Oh yeah, drop it
in Discord.
Okay.
Oh my goodness!
I think you like it. I think what makes it okay for me to not really feel bad about is that you have a good sense of humor about it too. You don't mind when I do it. I don't think. So,
no,
I don't think you do.
There's some jokes that I think get old after a while because people just kind of like keep beating on them to the point where it goes, it was funny. Now it's kind of not funny, but I don't know how to tell you guys it's not funny anymore.
Like what?
This is not really one of those.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you care that we laugh at you because you rage when you play.
Well, I mean, a lot of times it's I'm very self-facing, right? I know I'm gonna get angry at things. I know I'm gonna get kind of irritated at it. So when you guys kind of make fun of me about it, it's half you guys laughing because you find it funny, and half of it you guys trying to make me feel a little bit better about it.
So I just dropped it in Discord. I don't know if you could pull it onto here.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Hang on.
Well, it's what endears us to you.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, I
don't know if it's going to give. I don't know if it's going to give the audio.
I need the audio though. The audio makes it.
Hold on. Let me try to play that. Let me see if this will play and if you guys can hear this. And so give me audio options on here. It's show volume menu. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. I don't know if I should put this at 100% or not. I'm going to start at like 64. Okay, share your screen, share second screen. Okay, here we go. You guys let me know if this is too loud pretty early.
We can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
Can't hear it. It's got to be a way to do the see.
Hold on. Give me a second.
Yeah, so Nick had been working on this this one section for a long and this was when he was starting to click. But I mean, this was I don't know like half an hour of practice at this one part.
Easily a half hour or more of of like working with it. It was, oh god, it was such a. I struggled with this game hardcore to begin with because this was X2, and X2 kind of looks at X1 and goes, "So you're like the Mickey finds the numbers games of the series? Is that what we're saying? Because like, well, beating Mega Man X is not exactly an easy feat compared to X2. It's nothing, right? And then X3 is actually
a lot
even
more
harder.
frustrating than the first one.
And I'm not
every
sure
time
why
you guys start talking about Mega Man, all I hear is yes, but all I hear is wah, 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 like that teacher from Charlie Brown, because I have no idea any of these games.
I don't know why it is not given audio.
It's up DLP. Maybe I'll just upload it as a private video to my YouTube account.
Okay, well let's do that then, because that'll be easier.
That'll also make it easier to go viral if I just do that. So,
especially if I have the link and can tweet that link out too.
God damn it! I hardly ever upload from my phone, so I don't remember exactly how I do it.
This is true. This is them trying to get a hold of me during a stream to try to help me. It's like Nick, with like either a number or an exclamation point, and then finally it's just like all caps because I'm getting so focused on what I'm trying to do that it's just not going well. Hang on, guys. We're working through difficulties on that. Let me see how everybody's doing it here. And you're enough to bring a goal to life. Oh god, yeah. I went the money route on my green screen rig because nothing was working with lighting this area. I finally just picked up like some pro stuff and said, "Screw it, here, let's go." Oh, Dead Level Podcast is in here. Thanks for popping in, man. We're working through some technical difficulties. Oh god, Nick, the real AVGN.
Minus. I was gonna say minus his money, Nick.
It's true. I don't know. I actually have a decent paying job, and he's trying to support like his kids and his family off of YouTube. I don't know how that works.
I don't know. Yeah.
He might make really good money at it. I have no idea.
Oh, I think he does. Well, don't forget too, he used to do videos for Cinemassacre. He worked for, other things first.
And Rob's still working on the Sunline. So
yeah, I got it uploaded, so I'm sending you the link right now.
Okay. Random question: what do you think of 90s IPs coming back with new movies and episodes? I think my favorite so far has been Beavis and Butthead. I don't have any real issue with it. I kind of want to do an episode or like a collab with a few people on nostalgia and how far that really takes you. How much of it is good and how much of it is we need to make new stuff. Because it feels like lately we've had a huge resurgence in nostalgia overall. And I don't know if it's all... some of it's obviously been good, right? But not all of it. So I don't want to bash it entirely, but I did not play the original Wonderboy for the Sega Master System. I do not have much experience with the Master System in general.
Yeah, I need to get better
as a whole. So I didn't have one when I was younger.
This, by the way, to Rhea's question, I want to answer by saying one thing. It's not going to truly be the coming back of 90s IPs until they take a third stab at bringing back Ren and Stimpy. And I mean the original Ren and... Yeah, the original Ren and Stimpy. I
really get into Ren and Stimpy. I never got into it.
I'm okay with Ren and Stimpy, but the dude kind of his... I don't rage, unfortunately. I just don't get that mad about stuff. Yeah, the guy behind Ren and Stimpy, who made it great, is also a giant creep. So I don't know if they'll bring it back because of that. So...
About Sonic CD being a fighting game. If he is sure dedicated was like,
yeah. The problem is like... when they tried to remake it without him, it sucked.
Yeah, it does.
It sucked. They tried to make it too adult, and I didn't like. They tried to make it so raunchy that those of us who were original fans were like, that's not what we were. There's a difference between gross, which the original Ren and Stimpy was, and raunchy, which was not what we wanted.
See, that seems very suspicious, Tyler, when you put it that way.
Yeah. Now I need to go back to see what you're. In Scepter Sever, that was one of my favorite episodes. That don't pee on the electric fence.
We just showed that to my son yesterday. It's long, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood. There it is. Ray got it.
Yeah.
Better than that.
It's better than that. It's good. Okay, so we're going to try take 2 on this. So hang on. Let me hit play on this and see if you guys can hear this.
Come on, volume. Nick.
Can you hear it?
I can't hear it. You're going to miss the best part.
So,
you're going to miss the best part. Rewind it.
You don't have to even hear it. You can see it. Watch it.
I know,
again.
but the timing of the.
Can you guys not hear that?
No,
I've got the volume cranked all the way up on my side.
It's because StreamYard's, dude. It's not. We're not talking about OBS here.
I'm just gonna link it to.
No, it's okay. No, but it's okay because.
How do we
play it again? Hold on, play it again.
I played videos before, and you guys have been able to hear it.
Yeah,
very weird.
Hold on, play it again. I'm going to the part of make it large. The part of Nick will be played by.
Hold on, let me pause this. I'll back it up. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. Right. Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, he's getting there. He's getting there. All right, he's looking at this. All right, he's got the magnet.
He's explaining to the audience right now what he's doing.
And hold on. Fuck.
Now, how come whenever I accidentally play a YouTube video in the background, you guys can all hear it?
I have no idea, man. I don't know what's going on. I got nothing here.
I don't know.
Well, that sucks.
I'm kind of bummed about that.
Worst stream ever. All right.
Happy birthday, 1 year anniversary. Only 20 more to go, and you'll be able to drink. Waka waka. Hi, Panda. How you doing?
Brother Panda. Look,
so people are basically asking for more Super Seducer content, and he is on a channel pause.
I am. So I want to make it public and official that I am protesting Panda Sub's channel pause. I am formally protesting. In fact, I am going straight to the United Nations, and I am going to. He was going to have no choice but to continue to make his awesome content. And I know how much Panda loves.
I don't have desktop audio muted, Heavy. Oh. And I don't see a setting in StreamYards that says that I have anything muted on that. So that's why I'm a little
Do
lost.
not contact the UN. Put the phone down.
Do not contact the UN.
Actually, just picturing Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Put down the bat. Put down the bat.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to. This is the last I was going to say about the Ren and Stimpy thing, because Rhea said the same thing about the creator, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to be a controversial statement. Yeah. Mike is going to make a controversial statement.
Okay.
Well, we've never had that happen before.
No. Here it is.
I got it over the mute button. Here we go. Let's do this.
Gun. Oh. If James Gunn could say the shit that he said on Twitter, lose his job to Disney, and get his job back, and continue to make Guardians of the Galaxy and make other Marvel movies with some of the things that he said and done, the creator of Ren and Stimpy can do that too. You can separate the person from the work.
Yes, I agree in spirit exactly with what you're saying, and I do have a tendency to I know I don't even want to know about anyone that I like, because I just know they're just monstrous douchebags in real life, just absolute cretins. So you have to separate the douchebag.
We're already going into Mike like that tonight.
What?
That was tough though. hearing about what he did. So
I get it. No, and I'm not saying what I'm saying is in today's society we have forgiven an awful lot worse, if I'm being honest. As a society, we have forgiven a lot worse.
And I always say, if we as a society can forgive Michael Vick, because what if you can do whatever you want to humans, but as soon as you do something to a dog, and everyone just kind of just let it go. I think we all just kind of forgot that he did those awful things.
I'm
to
not sure I'm okay with that still. Like he's just.
I'm not okay with it.
No, I'm not either.
That is, as a society, we kind of got over it.
He got a job on an NFL team again. He got a job on another NFL team after that. So I mean, there are definitely the one. I'll tell you what. If Joss Whedon ever gets another gig, then the creator of Ren and Stimpy should absolutely get another gig. So I'll put it that way.
Okay.
So
I mean, I agree with what you're saying.
Hey, Scrambles.
You know, look, if
only because what you're saying is, if you are okay with one, you have to be okay with the other. Which
we have to be.
So I'd rather just not be okay with either.
Same thing. But I would also, I
also didn't agree with why not Joss Whedon, with why James Gunn got, like, you can't dig up that kind of stuff and just come on, from 10 years ago. I know it was appalling, but hey, I'm with you, but this is what, look, if I didn't watch or if I didn't watch movies or TV shows of, I would, I probably wouldn't be watching TV for a long time because if you actually had to screen out the content from the people who are just disgusting people, you would never watch anything. I don't think.
Yeah, actually, I would stop trying to learn anything about those people, which is kind of how I handle it now.
And that's right.
I watch the shows. Yeah. I don't care about who makes it. I don't care about the actors. I don't care about the actresses. A lot of times I don't even remember their names. I'm just like, hey, you're that person from that thing I liked. Right. And that's as far as I get. And I'm okay.
That's why it's best when they just don't talk a whole lot. But a lot of them feel like they need to. Like they're now socially obligated to say stuff.
Stay the hell off social media. Let's start there.
However, I will give credit where credit's due. I do think like people like Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth, where they only post like memes or inspirational messages and nothing else. That's the way. Or Ryan Reynolds. When is the?
Oh yeah.
Has he ever said anything serious? It's always just a dig on.
We're making things very, very difficult for Panda. He's trying very hard to keep his mouth shut.
I know,
Panda, unlike most of us, has seen more of the.
Panda knows a lot.
The backside of Hollywood, not the shiny, bright, the super nice people side of things.
My guess is Panda knows.
And seen a lot of the. Really unpleasantness. What's up, Josh? Good to see you, man.
Hey, Josh. He's
seen a lot of that, but I don't want to spend too much time on cancel culture as a whole. Yeah,
sorry,
or Hollywood as a whole per se.
No, it's actually our topic, honestly,
here.
For our first
thanks, Rhea.
I've got nothing against like bringing like nostalgic properties back, but to the extent I agree with stuff that what Panda's been saying is make new things, right? It's okay to refresh things occasionally, but sometimes we refresh things too often, or we lean too much on it, and we don't come up with new properties for people to enjoy. We're so stuck in the cycle of refreshing things that have already been done that we're losing sight that there are new things we could be doing.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, right? We all know that, and part of it is. There is some of that we long for because we enjoyed it so much.
I'm going to put the not so self plug up.
And there is another side of that. There's another edge to that sword, in that not everything new from that person works out. Now there are some exceptions, obviously.
No, hold on just a second. Ray, don't
go away.
No.
Derail is what we do here.
No. You have officially accomplished what everyone else accomplishes in the chat, Ray.
Yeah. You basically derailed us like everything derails us.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is not a hard thing to do.
No.
And 99% of the time it's encouraged. And for the most part, this is encouraged. We just took it in a weird tangent I don't think you intended.
No, but it is retro. but it's retro. So we are on topic. To be perfectly honest, we're on topic. So she's good there. But yeah, I mean,
so Rhea, if you please say hi or something if you're still here.
Yeah,
if not, I need to reach out to Rhea and apologize. I did not mean to run Rhea off. That was not my intention.
No,
I'm sure she knew that. Yeah.
No,
she didn't leave.
I hope not.
Hold on, she could.
But Heavy made an observation because I dropped her video in the chat. It was such a really good clean app, like a perfect app.
Oh, I love that, Josh, because I remember when he said that too. Don't throw stones at a man holding a machine gun.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. I felt bad for a second. I'm like, damn, I went and ran off. That was not my intention.
No. What I was saying before we thought she left, thank goodness she didn't, was that sometimes when folks do come up with new stuff, it works. Mike Judge is a good example of that, right? So Mike Judge, which she talked about Beavis and Butthead, he parlayed that into King of the Hill, which was highly successful. That doesn't always work. So the reason that we sometimes long for the old is because, number one, Ren and Stimpy is a show that I enjoyed so much that not only do I want to see it, I want to share it with my kids. Number two, sometimes I just want the stuff that I used to enjoy. And some of the stuff that's out there now just sucks. And so getting, and that goes for gaming too.
Well,
so
I mean, part of that's because you're old.
Well,
I mean, it's all of us, right? As we're getting older, we're not syncing with what's kind of new and popular for the next generation. And we're not supposed to. It's not for us, right? And that's okay.
It is, but if it's not for us, that doesn't necessarily mean that that we have to get just left in the dust to wither and die on the vine. That's why some of this stuff coming back, it not only hits us, but it has an opportunity to hit a new generation of people. So take Beavis and Butthead. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen clips, and I gotta say, I almost subscribed to Paramount Plus just on the couple of clips I saw because Mike Judge he's still got it, and there's
a couple of things there. Like King of the Hill, honestly, when it first aired, I wasn't into it. As I got older, I went back and saw it again, and I'm like, I get it. Because I had to get older to understand that show, right?
Yes, there's that.
When I first saw it, I was not in the age demographic to go, to watch him like try to crack jokes about propane and propane accessories and find that funny. Now that I'm older and I'm like grilling out in my backyard and I'm doing all the same kind of crap they're doing on the show, I'm like, oh my god, and it makes more sense.
And you end up actually saying stuff in that. Propane.
I used to be with it, then they changed what it was. Now that I'm with it isn't in it, that's what's weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you. Well, here's the weird thing, Dyer. Like I went in and out of like high school like way too soon because I was the kid wearing like shirts like this and stuff when I was in high school. And that was not considered the cool thing to do. It was always supposed to be like sports stuff or Abercrombie and Finch or Gucci or whatever the hell was popular at the time, So I was the dork kid in high school, and then I come out and I get through college, and then I'm seeing an entire generation of kids in high school wearing the shit that I was wearing in high school, and they're the cool kids now. Not fair. So being nerdy became cool somehow.
All I could think of with Abercrombie and Fitch is Mad TV and the parody.
Yeah, well, and I don't have any problem with them bringing stuff back as nostalgia properties, but I feel like to an extent we've gotten to the point where everything has to be rebooted now, right?
Okay,
it's all being rebooted. And I think I think Sherry popped in. I have not said hi yet. Hi, Sherry, by the way. Here we go. 10 years old when I watched King of the Hill. I was a little bit older than that, but yeah. I'm old. Hi, by the way, Sherry. Thank you for popping in.
As old as I am, I was in my 30s.
But I feel like we need. I feel like the sweet spot is kind of like a mix, right? You have some of these things that are being rebooted that you kind of do. You try to do a first take on it and whatnot, and you introduce it to a new generation, or you just re-release it and you have it kind of pop in and you kind of filter it into the cycle thing. So it's not just the parents trying to get their kids to watch something the kids discover it on their own, which is kind of how I feel like as kids get older, they don't really want dad going, well, sit down and let me show you something, kid. And they're going to immediately roll their eyes and not really want to watch it. You let them kind of discover stuff, right? As it pops back up on TV and they kind of discover it for themselves. And then you're like, oh yeah, I remember watching episodes of that when I was younger. Well, let me sit down and watch some of the new ones with you. Right. And, maybe we can go back and watch some of the ones I grew up with later and they might be into that kind of thing. That feels like it's in, then they have stuff that's theirs, that's uniquely theirs, that's new, that they can kind of show you, and whether you like it or not is another thing, because they may not like what you have to show them. I just feel like that's better than just always trying to like reboot everything. Like Last of Us is like the biggest example. Like they keep rebooting that game again and again and again and again and again. And I'm like, you're on like your third revision of the same game. You have this one team that's worked on this game for like 15 years now. Like, when are you done? For a little while, right?
You're right in that there's a fine line at what, and to me, what I don't like is when something gets rebooted with a whole
New Coke was a mistake. They knew that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when you reboot some, and even that, like there are some. Oh, wow.
Ouch.
All right, so did you guys see the 21 Jump Street movies?
I enjoyed those, but I never really watched the original show.
So did I, but I did watch the original show. So I understood. Yeah, that was okay. But when they rebooted Ren and Stimpy, when they do it and change the formula, is what I have probably a problem with reboots on. And it's a fine line. And I agree with you. Not everything needs to be rebooted. Some things are best left in the past. But I'll be honest with you, I could use a good, honest revival of G1 Transformers.
Well, isn't that kind of what I kind of, and I didn't see it, but that's the impression I got from the Bumblebee movie, where it was kind of supposed to be more like the G1 than the Michael Bay movies.
And honestly, I just like the plot designs in that a little bit better. My problem with the Michael Bay stuff, and they're not bad as a whole, right? I have my issues with them, but
yes, they are.
Well, some of them are pretty good, and some of them are really, really bad.
The third one was okay.
I thought the third one was pretty solid. The one with Devastator, there were too many too many lowbrow jokes. I'm okay with a fart joke here and there, but you can't make an entire movie just stringing those together.
No,
it just doesn't work for me.
And when they brought Matt Wahlberg in and turned it into a profanity laden, I said Mark Wahlberg.
I thought you said Matt. Sorry,
no,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. Sorry. When they brought Mark Wahlberg in and turned it into a profanity laden, rated R movie, is when I just was done.
Well, see, I enjoyed the Bumblebee one. I'm with Omni. I thought the Bumblebee one was wow. He loves Bumblebee,
and I heard it was good.
I'm more of a Starkist guy for tuna myself, but it's okay. And I do remember Exo Squad. Exo Squad was kind of neat. See, the thing was I thought the first movie,
except they're right.
Well, it was a pretty solid start. The editing of the CGI fights was just too fast, right? Like, you couldn't tell what was going on. And the designs of the bots are such that I'm kind of looking and going, why is everything in exposed wire? Like, it's just, I can't see the lines here. Everything just kind of looks like a mass of stuff.
Nothing
you
about that
slapped on.
movie or those movies period are designed to be visually cohesive at all. The character designs don't make any sense. I can't tell what I'm looking at. The design of the Decepticons are way too similar to the designs of because everything looks like a mess of just metal shards, basically. So that's what I know they tried to make it so it's kind of realistic that they would transform from robot to vehicle, but they went way too far with it.
Yep.
Whereas
and it's hard, and I cannot could never get over, and I know why they had to do it, but I couldn't get over Megatron just being another plane. Like, did he even try? It's like they didn't even try.
To be fair, didn't they also turn him into other vehicles in the cartoons too? I know he was the
he was a tank in one. He was like a futuristic jet in one. He's been kind of a futuristic looking race car. He's been a helicopter. He's had a lot of different shapes. Making a gun work in a live action movie just doesn't necessarily work. So I was okay with that change. It worked.
Yeah, because they did try to actually obey some sense of logic where there's like you could change form, sure, but you can't decrease mass. So that like they wanted to work like that's as big as Bumblebee would literally be if he transformed this from this car into a humanoid. And so they couldn't go in the reverse and turn it into like a big giant robot like Soundwave turning into a radio that big.
Yeah,
just wouldn't work.
And mass shifting was a huge problem in the original series. As much as I love it, it's kind of like the Autobots overall made more sense with their mass shifting than like the Decepticons, because you had a lot of Decepticons that were like Soundwave was arguably almost taller than Megatron, and he turned into like a teeny tiny little tape deck.
Well, but wait a minute. In Bumblebee though, Soundwave turned into the radio and it worked fine.
Did it? See, and that's why I need because that looks like a cartoon accurate Soundwave in the trailer. So that's why I wanted to see it.
It was, and it was still live action. It was that is what I enjoyed about Bumblebee the most, was it was a complete love letter to G1 Transformers.
Yeah, I thought they did an excellent job on that one. Zombies like this is what happens when you let director exist with explosions, feed shots, and Megan Fox direct. And he's not wrong. Michael Bay comes from the explosion film directory thing. I don't know how he ended up on Movie Top, but whatever works.
Well, we're still in retro because now
we are in retro. That's true.
Just real quick all right, already passed that. The question of what Soundwave. So in I hate to talk about the movies because they were awful. We agree on it. In the second movie was the first one that Soundwave was actually in, and he was a satellite, which I guess it kind of makes sense. And then he was some kind of fancy car. The third one, he was Patrick Dempsey's car.
Yeah, I forget the name of the car, but it was like, but he could still like deploy like. I thought that one was actually kind of neat because I liked how I liked that one. All right, kind of deployed Laserbeak. I thought that was kind of dope.
Yeah,
I didn't like the Laserbeak talked, but
no, I did not
that's true.
Rab's in the house with the dead on.
Oh god, I'm like way behind on chat. I'm trying to scroll up here. GoBots would have never went mess with wires and shards route.
They'd have gone to Sherry Lewis Landscock stop puppet route.
Oh my god,
that would have been their budget.
Yeah, honestly, on the I really need to try Grounded because it reminds me of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Not the tangent,
bad.
but the whole mass shaping thing that really should have been. Had it not been like a Disney film, that totally would have been a horror movie, and you could easily spin that into a horror movie.
And they would have gotten trapped in little droplets if they survived being shrunk down to that size. They would have gotten trapped in little droplets of water. They would have drowned or been eaten by ants. They wouldn't have tamed one.
Here comes.
But they would not. Depending on how they got shrunk, they would have either just imploded or suffocated. So,
Warner Brothers and New Line Cinema.
Honestly, I feel like they do need to make a horror movie of like size difference and stuff like that. When Ant-Man first popped on the scene, like his first experience with the mass ranking of running into ants and spiders and freaking out and stuff like that, I'm like, this totally makes sense, right? I thought they actually did that quite well.
And actually, that as silly as it was, that means he had to have a suit to breathe. because he couldn't breathe
Right.
small air. So, or he couldn't breathe regular air when he was small. So,
Actually, here's another good question. What game that didn't sell well would you love to see a reboot / second shot? And I'm trying to think of the ones that I played. I would probably say the Lolo series for me, because I think we're due for kind of a more upscaled version of those kinds of like room puzzle games. There's been a few indie ones, but nothing made by, I think, major development houses in a long time that I can recall.
see, I think they sold well enough because the first Lolo got 3 sequels at least. So
Yeah, but then it completely disappeared.
Well, then they found Kirby. So,
well, yeah, they found Kirby, and then everything else disappeared.
but HAL needs to do other stuff other than Kirby. They used to do all, just take all kinds of chances with all kinds of IPs, like that Tracks game that I played.
That sucks. I need a sequel to Rocket Knight Adventures, which we never got.
That's why it would have to be like a digital distribution, which sucks, or a limited run. I'm talking to Scepter Sever now. They don't really sell very well unless they are limited run type stuff. They sell well to us, our generation, or the people that love indie type games.
Omni, you've got some pretty deep thoughts for somebody who's baked. Well, they do and they don't. Like, some of them I feel like actually sold pretty well, and some of them don't. Like, Portal actually sold quite well. There's been a bunch of other puzzle games. They're more niche now than they were before. I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Or what was that?
I
Like
think they are talking
game
about a Beast
darling.
Machines movie. That's correct, Pilot.
Wasn't Spelunky kind of a action puzzler game?
It's kind of a roguelike, but it's sort of a puzzler. Yeah.
Fez was. I mean, we can think of all kinds of games that were.
Yeah, Fez was
puzzly.
definitely a puzzler.
Yeah.
But I mean, Lolo
That's
was.
another-
I'm with you. I think Lolo should actually get. If HAL doesn't want to do it, I'm sure there are plenty of fans like Macaulay Culkin who've grown up with these games that would pay to have them redone. So.
Yeah, I think you're sub Cherry. Thank you, by the way. Parappa the Rapper. I can kind of see that. I never got into those.
I liked it. I liked the first one. The second one wasn't great. But the first one, I still go back. I have a remaster of the first one on PS4. I go back and play it all the time.
And see, somebody mentioned Limbo and Braid, and those are basically puzzle style games too.
Yeah, Braid
puzzle style game.
Limbo and Inside did well. Braid did not.
Yeah, I like those.
Choo Choo Rocket. That's another one I haven't really experienced.
love
It has a lot of nostalgia vibes for people that
Yeah.
really hasn't gotten a lot of treatment in a long time.
No, Sega just doesn't bring out their properties.
I would like to see Sega bring any of their properties forward, quite frankly, because they're just not doing anything with them.
No.
Or come up with new properties. I don't care what you do, just do something, because they're not really doing a lot right now. That's kind of their big problem.
Yeah, they're leaning on Atlas and Yakuza.
Yeah, and as much as I like the compilations and stuff that we're getting, because I'm old and you're always going to sucker me in with nostalgia, because I'm that age group that you're aiming for now, which is kind of a funny thing, because usually the demographic is somewhere between 25 and like 35 to 38 is the main demographic that gaming and everything has pretty much catered to. And it's funny because that demographic seems to be shifting up, right? As we keep going back to these like collector sets and things like that, the re-releases of everything and the reboots of everything, that's not necessarily for new audiences. That's to draw the older audience back into things because they're not catching us with the new stuff. So a lot of the stuff, it's almost like they're trying to widen the demographic, right? A little bit to try to keep our age group that still has a good solid income. We're not like retired and just, live whatever income that we gain, active as far as consuming whatever it is that they're dealing out with. That's why you got stuff like the Cowabunga collection. That's why Shredder's Revenge sold so well. That's not like the 18 to 25 market is not the target demographic for that game. That's like the 35 and up crowd, really.
What I was thinking earlier is that the Ninja Turtles are one of those the Ninja Turtle and Sonic actually seem to be the one franchise from when we were kids that never really lost its relevancy. Like the Ninja Turtles has been in some iteration pretty much since the original cartoon.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, I mean, they reboot it constantly and it still goes. I don't know about the new one, but it seems to be successful every time.
But the aesthetic that they went with the new game is clearly aimed at the older demographic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The game, not the cartoon. Okay. Not the cartoon. Okay. The cartoon is very angular. It's very much that kind of modern
I can't stand
animation style. They've got a new Spider-Man series, Spectacular Spider-Man, that's on. I don't know if it started on Netflix, but they had the first season on Netflix, and it's similar in art style. It's kind of a more simplistic, angular art style. I don't mind that art style. It looks good in motion. It doesn't make for super interesting stills, but it looks good in motion, right? Turtles never say die. Yeah, and a lot of people don't really care for the angular art style. I got a taste for that with stuff like Samurai Jack, because Samurai Jack really used that to really good effect.
I mean, there are other cartoons that kind of went that route, like Powerpuff Girls.
Dexter's Laboratory to an extent.
Dexter's Laboratory, well. Johnny
Bravo.
So there was a good amount of that has been part of the and Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack and Johnny Bravo. I think another thing that the new Turtle stuff is not written well. Johnny Bravo was written. I mean,
I think that's the bigger problem with some of the stuff is
it's just not written well.
The 90s and early 2000s had a rush of cartoons that treated kids like people who were going to be adults. The X-Men 90s cartoon is one of the ones that did that probably the most notably.
Right.
And they didn't pull any punches on racism, stigmatism, depression, anger and anger management, real world issues, even bringing like governments into it, various different politics and things like that. They treated kids like people who needed to see something that was impactful and in a lot of ways scary in adults, because they're hitting an age group that's somewhere between like 12 and 16. And they need to start learning how to manage adult conversations. And so they just treated them like adults. And so that really made an example for a lot of other cartoons to start doing the same thing and to stop kind of like spoon feeding them shallower content and really dealing with real issues in their own way. And Star Trek has always done that to an extent. If you go back and watch Star Trek, it's always got an agenda of showing you various different things and various different stigmatisms and things like that, and kind of trying to shine a light on that while not directly going, hey, look, racism, right? They'll do another analog for the same thing. And they'll even do it with like gender and things like that. Next Generation was notorious for doing that.
I remember that back in the Next Generation, and also the very famous one in the original series where it was the guys who were black and white, but one was black on the left-hand side and one was black on the right side.
And the Next Generation did another one with a genderless race, right? So that was another one right there.
But it was also never like in your face.
I say 6-1 retro. Sometimes it was a little more heavy-handed than others, but it was basically them trying to. And Silverbolt was dope. I like Silverbolt. I was bigger into like Air. I really liked Air Razor. I thought she was really cool. God, I'm drawing a blank on names.
I'm gonna grab a refresh on my water.
Okay. I thought I was really big into Rat Trap. I thought Rat Trap was dope. The first time he popped up when we're all gonna die, I just cracked up and liked him since then. The 90s Cal art style evolved over time to the bean mouth animations we get a lot of now. Yeah, I can see that. Naruto, Inuyasha, Fullmetal Alchemist, Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, a lot of those would deal with some, like Ghost in the Shell really goes meta in a lot of ways, especially early Ghost in the Shell. It would go really into what makes a person, right? Like, what is a person? Is it the body you're born with? Is it whatever shell you're in? Is it your spirit? What is it? And that could get really deep if you really sat down and thought about it and then go, oh, look, explosions. Because there was a lot of those too. Yeah, cartoons used to teach a lot, and some of them still try to. And Johnny Bravo was just goofy and fun.
Exactly. So was Dexter's Laboratory.
Yes, it was. And I'm way behind on chat again. Stampede Gaming.
Stampede, what's up, Stampede? Oh, I didn't see Stampede come in. I have not been looking at the chat. I'm
Super
sorry.
Mega Graphics 64 also popped in. So we got a few people that popped in. And I'm trying to think of who else popped in. 661. I think he's new here. I don't remember that name. Or at least new to the podcast. I'm trying to find him earlier. He was in here earlier.
661 Retro Modern.
Yes. Thank you for popping in. And everybody who's in the chat, if I missed you, I apologize. It's not that you're not welcome here. I just am desperately struggling to keep up with the conversation in the chat and not necessarily succeeding in any of it. So it's a stream. That's the difference between Eastern. Yeah. Well, Western storytelling often will tell adult stories as well. I feel like a lot of Eastern storytelling, at least anime, tried to approach that a little bit sooner, right? Like there's a lot of like old like Robotech and Gundam and stuff like that that was dealing with this stuff in like the 70s and 80s, pretty effectively, honestly. It took it took a while for Western sensibilities to catch up to that kind of mentality in storytelling, and unfortunately, I feel like they're kind of slipping away from it more for slapstick humor and entertainment that doesn't necessarily resonate with people past the era or the run that it has, which is kind of a shame because I feel like as a whole, in a lot of ways, that's kind of where we've gone with media. You've got a lot of it. Oh, okay. That's Chris James. Hi, Chris. That's why I didn't recognize it. Hi, Chris. I feel like that's why a lot of that is kind of. I'm not going to blame all of it on the advent of like cell phones and streaming, but a lot of it has to do with that effect of like, we have so many games, we have so much media, we have so much stuff kind of coming in. It's hard to feel nostalgic for anything anymore.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to tell a story like that anymore because you've got to quickly get this out so that you can move to the next thing, right? So you can't always plan out those stories very well and fill out those gaps and do that kind of show because you're competing against so many other shows. And when you see like the cheaper gags and easier gags getting the higher views, you're going to kind of lean towards that kind of content, or you're going to lean towards that kind of blueprint, for lack of a better word. That's why in a lot of mobile games, you'll see one person do something original, and then you'll see like 8 million clones pop up of basically the same game type, right? And you see it in AAA games too, right? Because you see your Call of Duties every year. You see your sports games every year. And those are basically carbon copies of the previous one with a slightly updated roster and a whole new set of microtransactions for you to buy so that you can continue to compete, right? So you see a lot of that happening now. And it's kind of moving away from an art form more towards a mass-produced product because of the rate that people want to consume it. And it's not that it's not always had that. Transformers, if you look at it, there's so many editing mistakes and stuff like that because they were making a weekly show. It's kind of a mess if you really look at it objectively. I love it, but it's a mess. And things got better towards the 90s and early 2000s. And then it feels like they've kind of kicked back to that mass-produced go kind of mentality. I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
I don't think it's just YouTube is constantly recommending me videos of just compilations of mistakes from the original Ninja Turtles cartoon, which is stuff I noticed when I was watching the cartoon as a kid. Like Donatello would have Raphael's voice, or they would forget to draw the top of someone's head. So it would just I don't know if they really. I think a lot of times these cartoons got popular before they realized they could actually use, like Alvin and the Chipmunks. I watched that show as a kid, and they actually did tackle a lot of somewhat serious issues. And it didn't start out as a serious cartoon, but then they kind of realized they actually had an audience that they could actually tell a story of their kitten that got hit by a car, and they were dealing with the grief of losing a pet, and like that stuck out to me as a kid. So that it's kind of cool when a team behind a cartoon like that realizes that they could actually do more than just tell poop jokes for 22 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, Stampede. That's true.
You're giving the finger, yeah.
Now, I don't know if Ninja Turtles ever tackled any serious subjects, but that's my take on it. Since shit, yeah, it was weird. A lot of species blending in that show.
Yeah, the Rescue Rangers in general is kind of bizarre too. Like, you start looking at like Alvins and the Chipmunks and Rescue Rangers, like things get weird fast. You just don't want to look at it too hard. Like, you've been really quiet.
He's got something to say. We're not gonna like it, but he's got to say it.
No. I think we all have not liked things like Turtles as it's gotten, and it's not just, to me, it's not just Turtles. I've seen, various reincarnations of Spider-Man. I remember the old Spider-Man cartoons from the 80s.
Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends and all those.
Yeah, yes. Like
I don't feel like that's one of his best outings. I feel like the 90s were much better for him as a character.
I could see that. I could see that though.
I watched him and his Amazing Friends, and those were fun, but they're kind of hard to go back and watch now.
Yeah, I guess because of but like, I'm also very partial to like the old Justice League.
Oh, they're so corny, but they're fun.
Or the Super Friends, right? With the guy. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
at the Hall of Justice.
Batman the Animated Series was pretty top tier animation.
Yes, it was. But Batman really didn't have an 80s cartoon. I mean,
no, and since then they've kind of taken a couple other swings at it. The animated series was like the darkest they went, and after that they started trying to go more towards the not necessarily the same vibe of the show, but the look and feel of the Adam West style. Because it's a little bit brighter, it's a little bit more fun. They don't necessarily go slapstick as the old Adam West one did, as goofy as it is, which is fun and goofy in its own way. But I mean, that shark repellent, they really went through, and a bat rope. They just lean so hard. Spider-Man, Iceman, and Firestar, absolutely. Firestar is a character I feel like is underutilized by Marvel in a lot of ways. She just does not really get utilized on hardly anything. I just don't know if she fits in their current plan.
I didn't know they did that.
They did a movie reboot not that long ago. I haven't watched it yet. I heard pretty decent things.
Is that what you mean? Do you mean the movies?
Is that what you're talking about, Arcade Pilot?
Arcade?
The movies weren't bad. I mean, for what they were. The third movie was not great.
Yeah,
I thought the first movie was really good, but then again, I like some of the people who were in it. And again, separating the person from what I think about them in real life. I'm a big fan of David
Cross.
David Cross.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him as a human being, but I think he's funny as shit.
I don't know anything about him as a human being, so I guess
I am happier when I don't know things about Hollywood.
And so that's just it. That's what I mean. Is I'm able to separate the two and still enjoy his performance in that movie. Plus,
we all kind of love the X-Men animated series, for the record.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think we waxed poetic about that for about 20 minutes already. Thank you, by the way, Sherry. Yeah, and that's the thing with some of these, like Centurion. Somebody mentioned Centurions either. I forget who it was. It was another really good one. Exo Squad, similar kind of idea. A lot of those had a lot of interesting story runs. And
Carla, no one wants to talk about that. This is a boy show, boy cartoons only.
Which one are we talking about here?
Talk about Gem.
Oh, Gem. I never really watched those. I was glad.
Why would you watch Gem, Nick? Come on.
I didn't. Gem did not for anything for me, but I was a guy.
Although I did watch it. I did. But I think I had what were the bad girl band? What was their name?
Oh God, I don't remember.
I liked them a lot.
I remember.
I didn't know the word kid, but I liked them.
Use superpowers to portray people totally needs a cartoon. Favorite cartoons from the 80s stuff: Thundercats, Mask, Silverhawks, G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man, Brave Star, Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons, my God, that had too short of a run. All these are great. I love all of these cartoons.
But remember when, so don't forget to all the decent video game cartoons from the 80s and early 90s. Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Pac-Man's kind of hard to go back and watch as a cartoon. I watched it as a kid. It's a little hard to watch.
I've enjoyed it. I've gone back and seen episodes on YouTube, and it's kind of funny when the ghost bites Pac-Man and he gets all shriveled up and he's got to eat a power pellet to become
Pirates of Dark Waters. I think I remember that one, man. I need to go back and try to find another episode of that. I vaguely remember that cartoon.
Dragon's Lair was a good
I didn't see much of Dragon's Lair. I did watch a ton of Captain N as a kid growing up.
And then after Dragon's Lair was
it's all good, man. It's all good.
But do you guys remember I think a lot of people do. What was the show? Kid Video? Where was the band that was actually a real band? And they got taken into this cartoon bizarro world.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Periodically in the
I don't think I saw that
episode,
one.
They actually had like music videos.
Yes.
Kid Video,
yes. Kid Video.
I like that one a lot.
So Andre grew up in France, so and USA. So half of his 80s was Dragon Ball and City Hunter, Sailor Moon, Saint Seiya, and G.I. Joe and the rest. See, Sailor Moon is one of those. I feel like if I try to watch that, I really just need to watch it in Japanese. Because I caught it on Cartoon Network when they did the US release, and the dialogue is painful, like so painful. There was a lot of really good action and a lot of really good ideas there. Just the dialogue was super painful. And I love the original Dragon Ball series. I don't have any experience with City Hunter or why do I keep saying that wrong? City Hunter and Saint Seiya. I don't think I ever saw any of those. Definitely familiar with G.I. Joe. I grew up watching tons of G.I. Joe. Gargoyles, I adored. Spawn, I never really watched as a cartoon.
Yeah, I didn't watch Spawn. There's a bunch of good stuff going on too.
I like Powerpuff Girls. I honestly did not think it was going to like that. I sat down and watched an episode, and the first time Mojo Jojo opened his mouth, I was hooked.
Actually, I loved the pilot episode where it was like Fuzzy Lumpkins. Is that his name?
Oh yeah.
He had like little moment where he's playing his banjo, and I think that's why he got all upset because he lost his banjo.
And then Carla,
they had the one manly kid that like just grew a bunch of body hair or something like that. And that was like his bitch stick.
I remember the
stuff in there. It was great.
And I think it was Dave Coulier as that weird chipmunk sidekick she had. I also had a crush on Punky Brewster when I was a kid.
Punky Brewster. Oh my goodness.
I can't see that.
Actually,
try.
Yeah. I never did watch Strawberry Shortcake or Care Bears.
Oh, yeah. The grown-up version, not the little girl version.
Yeah.
I grew up with her.
We can't. Well, I don't care if you talk about Sailor Moon or not, Ron. I just don't have a whole lot of. I don't have a massive amount of input on that one, unfortunately. I didn't really catch a lot of it.
And I do remember Zoobly Zoo too. I thought that was.
Jim, don't lie.
I thought it was a local actor.
I never caught Jim. So. I think that's about the time that I tuned out and went to a different channel. I watched tons of like gummy bears and stuff like that growing up. I thought that
what
was a
was
fun
the
show.
name? What was the name of the show? It was like Punky Brewster, but the little girl was a robot.
It wasn't like Brewster, but that was Small Wonder.
Small Wonder. It was like that in that it
the better version of that would be the Out of This World with the gleep and the.
I meant, but what I meant by like Punky Brewster was it was a sitcom in that era with a little girl.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But in that sense, she was a cyborg. She was a robot. So.
Fraggle Rock is amazing.
Fraggle
Rock. And we keep going back to G.I. Joe.
And then Dyer brings up another one. I remember the Rubik Cube cartoon. I remember that because he actually said his name is Rubik in the title sequence. But then you also remember that really, really creepy one where the teenager turned into a car, and it had like he did a full on morphing thing, and he would talk to them to the radio. God, that was creepy as fuck.
The hell was that? What is the name of that?
I was a teenage car or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think I
remember a terrible show.
Yeah. Weird. Jose's going over a couple of them that we talked about a little bit earlier because we did talk a good bit about Ren and Stimpy. We've not talked about the Sonic cartoon. I don't have a ton of experience with that one. Some of you guys might.
You guys remember Automan? Now that we were talking about I was a teenage car. Remember Automan?
I don't know.
That was that was in the 80s. It was a guy who could turn himself into a car.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. Was that like a Hanna-Barbera thing?
No,
it's Turbo Teen. Dyer dropped it in the cartoon one is Turbo Teen.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking Turbo Teen up.
Sorry, I'm kind of scrolling through some of these. You guys keep up with the current bit? I'm trying to catch up a bit here.
Automan was Chuck Wagner.
Mr. M. I never saw that one.
And he could make himself into a car. And his light
Muppet Babies was amazing.
His suit was kind of lit up like Tron. It was only on for a season, but it was
a live action show.
Yes, it was live action. It was actually done by Disney.
I don't remember this at all.
I don't remember this at all.
I never seen Spiral Zone either.
You've never seen Automan? Oh my goodness!
I don't think so. It doesn't sound familiar, but then I never had cable growing up, so there was a whole genre of TV that I totally missed growing up.
You guys are also younger than me, and that's here. I'm putting it. Look, hold on. There.
I don't remember if I saw X-Men Pride of the X-Men or not. I've seen a couple of X-Men series because they've done some animated, they've done some more anime styled series and a couple other ones, and I can't remember which one's seen. Muppet Babies is amazing. I agree. I love that show. Dragon Ball the original, I like actually better than Z. Quite frankly, I know I'm kind of in the minority there. Actually, I remember enjoying the cartoon for Where in the World's Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a neat one because you usually learned a little bit of like geography and history while you're watching the show, and I thought that was fun.
I had a kick-ass. I did that because we hadn't talked about that. That had a kick-ass theme song.
Yeah, the only thing that I remember from the show actually.
Hold on, I'm looking up the link that Mike sent me here.
Around the world
okay, so here's Automan. Hold on, let me put this on screen. So here's Automan for everybody, and I'm going to be way behind on chat again.
I can already tell you I haven't seen this. I would.
Yeah,
totally
I don't recall this at all.
Oh, yeah, it was cheesy as all get out, but
those graphics though.
Yes,
this looks cheesy and fun enough that I would love this.
It was only on for a season.
That looks glorious.
Desi Arnaz
like they took
Jr.
like Knight Rider and mixed it with like Tron.
Exactly. It's exactly what they did. It was heavily based on Tron.
God, they've even got the blip thing from Tron. They got the bit. Hi.
With Cursor as himself.
It's a Disney show?
It wasn't made by Disney. It was who did this?
Yeah, Panda saying Automan. He's like, that looks freaking awesome. This does look neat. I mean, if you
it was 20th century. I just looked it up. It's 20th Century Fox.
Like, you want to reboot something? Why
They
not?
tried to. They tried rerunning it. They tried. Well, they didn't reboot it, but they put reruns on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was only
Okay,
there were
so
only
apparently
13
Sailor Moon in
episodes.
French was dope.
Oh, nice.
I heard the original Japanese is amazing, and it's got a lot more things that they cut for the U.S. thing. So the U.S. one that we got was really not true Sailor Moon. Oh, it's the Carmen Sandiego cartoon. Just intentionally taught wrong history info because kids are funny. Mighty Max. I think I remember watching a little bit of Mighty Max. I remember that being pretty fun. Let's see. Kid Video
Max.
just bled 80s. That I do remember the animated Punky Brewster show. Matter of fact,
I do not.
I remember that almost more, I think, than I do the original.
I think I only knew of the animated show first before I realized that it was a live action cartoon, or live action cartoon. Before I realized it was a TV show first. So I did wonder why they didn't have the
really good
the Gopher thing in the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You also have a crush on grown-up Punky Brewster.
Yeah,
I have not seen adult Punky Brewster. Yeah, DBZ is a good series. It started losing me around the end of Frieza. Gargoyles is solid. It's just a great show. Robotech is a good show. I'm so behind. I'm trying to quickly blaze through some of this to kind of catch up. Yu Yu Hakusho is amazing, Ray. You're gonna love Yu Yu Hakusho. Inuyasha is gonna run forever. Tenchi Muyo has like 80 million different variants, so depending on the one that you get, you'll enjoy it or you may not. Any of the good cartoons. Pole Position.
It was. It's true.
I wish I was into anime more than I was. Oh, the real Ghostbusters. That was good.
Oh, I love that. I actually bought the first season of that for Home
we
Digital.
talked about it earlier.
Hey, Back from the Dead.
Hey, Back. Do you guys remember the Star Trek, the original series cartoon?
I never watched the cartoon. I think it's one of those things that I've missed, and all the Paramount stuff because I just don't have Paramount.
It was.
I thought you were going to say the
good.
Filmation Ghostbusters, but
it was
good.
Oh,
so
no, like
good.
the Hanna-Barbera. Like, this was the real Ghostbusters, which is why they had to call it the real Ghostbusters.
The real Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But yes, I do remember the Star
being
Trek
on a
cartoon.
topic.
The reason it was
Our topic was no topic tonight, sir.
No.
Yeah, technically we are on topic.
Yes.
So,
the reason
our topic
it was
is
so
shenanigans.
Good, that's right. The reason it was so good is because they used the entire show cast for the voiceovers.
Did they?
Yep. Everyone was voiceover for the Shatner, Nimoy, who played DeForest Kelly, James Doohan.
Omni, thank you for popping in, by the way. I don't know if you've already left, but thank you so much for popping in. I'm super behind on chat. My apologies.
So yeah, that's what made it so good, is they were able to harness the actual actors to do the voiceover work, and it was great. I enjoyed it.
Rama 1.5. I never really saw a lot of that. I remember it being kind of interesting. Smoggles. I don't remember Smoggles.
I don't remember Smoggies either.
I remember the Smurfs, and I remember the Snorks.
Smurfs and Snorks, yep.
Sledgehammer. I don't think I remember Sledgehammer.
I remember the song by Peter Gabriel.
Fingers of the Earth sounds familiar.
That one.
But I don't think I really saw it. And having a crush on Penny from Inspector Gadget, I can kind of empathize with that one. Inspector Gadget was a fun cartoon. Period. I really enjoyed the original.
Inspector Gadget was.
Reboot has not really aged well as far as computer generation goes. Neither has Beast Wars, frankly. But those are both really, really good. They were really good story-wise. There's a lot, like the older you get and you go back and watch Reboot, there's a lot of really clever stuff in there that you don't necessarily catch when you're a kid. See test footage of the Americanized Sailor Moon. Wow, really? Is it that bad? Robotech, Macross, Mobile Suit Gundam. Yeah, all those are good.
Mobile Suit Gundam. I didn't do a lot of
Did they reboot
anime.
Muppet Babies? I don't
Did
remember
they?
them rebooting
did.
Muppet Babies.
They didn't.
They
They only
did?
used like maybe half of the. Like I don't think Skeeter was on it. Like I didn't even see it. I just heard about it. Kind of. It's on the Disney Channel, which I don't have.
God, the chat is so fast tonight.
I don't remember either of those, Visionaries or Bionic 6.
I remember the Visionaries because I had the toys. Actually, and I remember the remember the Bionic 6 too because I had the toys.
I knew a kid that had the Bionic 6 toys, and
I did not.
And shamefully, well, in my older shame at the time, I wasn't ashamed. I only hung out with him because he had those toys. Captain Power. I remember Captain Planet, but not Captain Power.
I remember Captain Power because they had to
Captain
rip
Planet.
off all the bad guys' heads to show that they were robots, so they couldn't. Kind of like why they turned the foot soldiers into robots in the Ninja Turtles cartoon and had them destroy them all.
Yeah. It makes the violence
not
a little bit
violence.
more
They're
palatable.
not human.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell Stand-Alone Complex dealt with some serious crap. No joke. Atari, ColecoVision, the game systems were popular before Nintendo. Yeah. So scrolling through here. Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing was great. I thought Endless Waltz was a really good wrap up for that. There's the rule. Ghostburst Government. Speed Racer. There's another really old school one. I'm afraid to dig into that one. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Zero Experimentations, Land Anime, The Matrix. The Animatrix is actually really cool.
See now everybody's getting way past my knowledge base.
Well, a lot of this is going into anime, which I'm kind of like spotty on, quite frankly. Wow, if you tried to do like a Gundam Wing movie, holy crap. Talk about dumping money. And it might work great, but it's going to be expensive. I don't remember Peter Gabriel.
He sang that Sledgehammer song.
Yes. I want to be your sledgehammer.
He's also.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Everybody's really into Captain Power TV. I don't remember Captain Power.
I remember it, but
I didn't like it because it was a live action show. I wanted to watch.
Yeah, I wasn't
Gotcha.
big into it.
I remember a little bit of Jimmy Neutron, but I didn't ever really watch a lot of Nickelodeon. Still don't, so I missed a lot of those, quite frankly, that were hugely popular. Pro Stars, I think I remember that. Didn't it have like Bo Jackson and stuff in it? Yeah, it actually had Bo Jackson and a bunch of other people. It was like sports superhero Saturday morning cartoon thing. It didn't last very long. I think it only had like a season or two. Dino Riders sounds familiar, but I don't really remember.
Dino Riders, I remember.
I have some of the toys.
That's right, you do actually, because I remember you sending me
when we did our
pictures of
toy stream now, when I had just found one of those dinosaurs. Or Mask.
Oh, Mazin's in here because somebody said Gundam. Dad Level Podcast mentioned Astro Boy. That's a little bit before my time.
Good Panda.
I remember Astro Boy.
Friends.
Let's see, Cat Dog. That was another. Wasn't that like another nickname back in their edgier days?
That was when I was starting to get back into cartoons again in high school. So that was kind of made for me almost. It was made for high schoolers almost who grew up watching cartoons. So I appreciated it. Kind of like Two Stupid Dogs.
I've heard of that one as well, but it was one of those like I never really followed that channel very much. So I missed a lot of that. Yes, I've actually seen pictures of the life-size Gundam in Japan. It's pretty epic. And apparently Captain Power doesn't like you either, Rob.
Yeah. We already covered that one.
Astro Boy is a solid game, GBA game. I haven't really dug too much into the GBA still. I need to.
I had that game.
Jan keeps asking me to continuously play Mega Man and Base.
Haven't opened it.
Which is not making me super enthusiastic about digging into the GBA library as a whole.
Don't play the GBA version of Mega Man and Base.
Yeah, you said to get the Famicom version and get like the translated version or something like that. There's a translated ROM.
Yeah, and there's a patch because I've seen it on YouTube where that. But I mean, even if you don't have it translated, you don't need to read the dialogue to play the game. It's still Mega Man. So,
Right.
Spoiler: Dr. Wily comes back. That's pretty much the only thing.
What? No. No, the GBA's got a great library. It's just I'm experiencing the most painful parts of it initially. That's all. My Neighbor Totoro, I have not seen, and you guys are going to hate me. Well, this is going to show my weaknesses in anime knowledge because a lot of the Howl's Moving Castle, Nico's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, all those, I haven't seen any of those. So
we're a huge Miyazaki household.
Yeah, I could not think of his name, but he did like all of those. And my wife swears by them. We just never sat down to watch them.
She watches them all. I've only seen a few, but she watches them all the time. And Kiki's Delivery Service is probably one of her favorite ones. And Howl's Moving Castle.
Manzinger, I've seen a little bit of, and a little bit of Big O.
Do you guys remember? Is it Dino the Last Dinosaur? And he had a band and a really catchy theme song.
Dino the Last.
Is that
Dino? I don't know if it's
that
Dino.
the one that Rab's talking about, or are you talking about something different?
I don't think so. It's not Gertie. It's what is it? Someone in the chat.
It's true, man. My anime knowledge is weak. My anime kung fu is spotty at best.
Yeah, I this is where you sort of lose me. It's
one
not
of
that
those where I have interest, but I have like no idea where to start. So occasionally
Denver
people will tell me stuff like Rune Soldier, Love Hina, stuff like that, and I'll really enjoy them. Matter of fact, I'm finally getting to see most of Yu Yu Hakusho, which I got to see up to like the middle of the Dark Tournament, and then none of the rest of it. And so me and a buddy have been going through that. But that's all really, really old school stuff. I've seen a little bit of Fairy Tail. I've seen a little bit of One Piece. Didn't get it into One Piece. Really enjoyed what I saw of Fairy Tail. But what I mean by a little, I mean like a few seasons. These things have like 600 episodes or something stupid like that now. So I barely dipped my toe into the lore behind any of those. Yeah, Love Hina is great for like a harem anime thing. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people swear by One Piece. I struggled to get into One Piece pretty heavily, even from the jump. I just was not. For some reason, Fairy Tail clicked. One Piece didn't for some reason. And I know they're the same formula, so it's weird. I don't understand it.
How's your volume working on your YouTube now?
I don't know.
I think you should try to figure out what happened, because I know you could play volume and audio from because you've done it.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going on with it tonight, quite frankly. I haven't changed anything in StreamYards because I actually really wanted them to hear that tonight. It's actually
too. I want to give it another shot.
I will pull up the link again and we'll give it another shot. Pull it up again. I'm going to move this over here for take two.
You got
We're going to go ahead and make it full size. Pull it over here. We're going to unmute that. The volume is...
A couple of people already watched it, but...
No, it's fine. I'm making sure it's unmuted, so when I add it to the stream...
I wonder if I can play it on my side and then you'll hear...
Are we still trying to... We're still
trying to do this. You can see it's unmuted. You can see the volume is maxed. We will try here. If not, share your screen, and we'll see if it comes in through your screen.
Right. Can I share my screen? Is that something I can do?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go down to the share, and you just add your screen.
I want to, while you're doing that, Dyer brought up the Guyver.
Okay.
I actually saw a live action version of the Guyver with Mark Hamill.
I wonder what Barney's up to these days. Following the drugs and OnlyFans. A Barney OnlyFans. That would be funny as a hell. So you got to get 150 episodes into One Piece before it gets interesting, Jose? That seems a little... That's a heavy time investment, even for a 20-minute anime. All right, here we go.
Yeah, see, it works on mine.
Okay, there's audio. Okay, hold on.
All right.
Well, that was me.
Share your screen.
Oh. No.
There we go.
Oh shoot, that's him. Okay, yeah.
I can
So
hear
I
that.
shared my screen, huh? And that'll work.
Yeah,
I've never done
let
it
me
before.
start my
No.
screen, and then you share yours.
All right. Hope.
It should
Okay.
look like a little monitor with a plus symbol on it to share.
Share this one. Oh dear.
And then tell it what screen you want to share.
Okay, I'm doing it.
So you have the one screen, apparently.
Wow.
So we're doing Screenception. So go to YouTube.
There we go.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go full screen. Start over. So you guys are seeing this?
I can
Yeah.
see this, yes.
Okay. Can you see this?
Let's
little-
try
I can
it.
also see it shrunk
window
in the
down there?
bottom there somewhere, too.
All right. I don't
Come
know.
on.
You don't need to actually worry. Okay. Just play it.
Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
Are we finally going to get this to work tonight?
All right, here we go.
Yay.
There we go. Okay.
There you go.
Oh,
We finally
boy.
got it.
Yay.
And there
Worth
you
it.
have it.
Okay, how do I stop sharing? You guys have seen
I
it.
just removed it off the stream. You should be able to like click the three little dots there and say like stop sharing.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go with we haven't really seen enough.
Play it again, I suppose. Yep.
So there you go, guys. Yeah, I had been. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Now
Look at
Matthews
me
is
stuck like
frozen.
that.
Like you're kind
What
of
a great
chugging
shot.
along.
That's me really enjoying Nick's defeat there. Stop sharing.
Yeah.
the screen. Okay. That was a good image to capture.
Yeah, apparently everybody's like, I felt that frustration. Yeah, it's oh, it's totally fine. Laugh at it, man. I had been at that for like 35 minutes plus, and I'd gotten to that spot like multiple times, and I could not figure out how to do that jump. And eventually, they just said, "Look, just take the hit." I went, "What do you mean take the hit?" They're like, "Just eat the damage." And I went, "All right." So as soon as I did that,
What are you guys talking about?
Spikes.
Right.
But I just
So,
love how
yeah.
you were like so getting your confidence was coming back. You're like, okay, we're doing okay. This is how you do it, guys. This is how you're doing it. Then it's just like you just immediately just like dropped right on the spikes. Just the utter deflation was palpable.
Because I overcome one obstacle. Because that first obstacle of just not only freezing the enemy, but being able to do that slide into that dash is kind of tricky. And that's just the first of like 3 difficult components
that's the
to that
once you get past
sequence.
that part, it's even worse. So you did get the you did get it though.
I got it eventually. It took forever.
Yeah.
The next really, really hard part past the spikes, which got me because I was struggling to get consistent getting there, and that's where the frustration all built up, right? Was even trying to get to there and not die because I kept missing that jump. And then when I got there, I was trying to figure out the next part because I'm like, damn it, I literally just got here. I've made it 2 feet, and now I have another wall. And then when I got past that, there was a third wall where you have to equip. God, I forget what it is. The charge blaze weapon. And so when you power charge that up, it gives you like a flame dash. So you have to do certain things in certain sequences. You have to get in the right spot so you don't dash into spikes when you do your initial jump and dash. And then you have to drop, turn, and then use that dash to go to the other side to reach a safe spot. Or you die.
Yeah.
Or
on either one of those dashes, you have to pull up just before you actually hit the spikes too.
Right.
So there's a lot
there's
of room
almost
for error.
pixel perfect timing on where you hit. You do not have a lot of leeway to be able to get over there. And then when you get over there, I just went ahead and used a sub tank because I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to get through here without any damage. Because if you're not at full health, you still can't get the upgrade.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then that's like at the very end of the game also. Like after that is you fight the final boss, and then it's Sigma after that. So it's like you've gotten like Mazan likes to do all these no death runs on and he did, of course, X2. But I couldn't imagine getting all the way through the entire game and then dying at that spot and having your no death run end there at that stupid
I don't
jump.
even know if I would get that uppercut if I was trying to do the no death run.
I don't know if I would either.
I think I would practice doing
but
it the hard way,
it's
because
so
it does make does make the game
yes.
easier, but you could totally do it without it.
But honestly, it makes killing that boss in that stage so much easier.
I didn't have any psychology to decline on.
I believe it. Did you raise
I
like
can totally believe that happened multiple times trying to get that, man. I could totally see taking the safe route and just not going for it. Because, I mean, I feel like if you're already at the level where you've gotten that far with a no death run, you're capable of doing the rest of it without that. Unless you just want to do a 100% playthrough with it at the same time.
I think Mazin does prefer to just go for the whole thing. So
I can see that.
Though.
If I was just going for just a standard NDR any percentage, then that's the way I would do it. That's all. Oh, dude, you do not want to see me with any level of sleep deprivation trying to play anything.
Oh yes,
on steroids. Oh my god.
Oh yes, we do.
Spike, yeah, honestly, the biggest bane to your existence in Mega Man 2 is just the number of spikes, man. There's a couple of sections where you're platforming and it's just nothing but spikes all around you that's pretty much insta death. And you have to not only slide, but jump and dash with a very high level of precision. I'm still shocked I made it through that game. My sheer amount of willpower for punishment and pain is the only thing that gets me through games like that, man. It's not skill. It's definitely not skill.
I think it's just like outright piss and vinegar is your fuel because you are very quickly on any one of your streams, like every other one. Because I mean, there's some games where you just don't really care that you're struggling on. Like if it's a newer game, like you didn't really, I don't think you got really upset at Double Dragon Neon, and I know you kind of had some.
Oh, I definitely struggled on that one, but yeah, I didn't get at. There were a couple of times where I got upset, but I spent some time on it previously, offline, trying to kind of figure some of it out. Because when I hit that wall with that big super mega tank thing, that I was like, "What the hell am I doing here?" I was pretty frustrated towards the end of that. Geeks with Piss and Vinegar. That should be my channel name, honestly. That should honestly be my channel name. When I hit that part, I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out what the hell I'm doing here. Like, what am I doing? So I finally went through because I tried to go a bunch of times on my own. I'm going, what am I doing wrong? I gotta be doing something wrong. So I looked up a video and went, oh, okay, so you can actually get on the top of this thing, which I didn't realize, and then make that jump. Oh, after that fight was a total joke. And then I made it through a couple of the other ones, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to finish this on stream at this point.
And you did, yeah.
Right. So I finally got it done.
Now, conversely, when you played Adventure Island, which I think was your last stream, right? That was your last stream, right? Because you didn't do last
and I'm debating whether or not I want to like punch through that one some more.
I think I was in unison with the rest of the chat where we were actually kind of worried because you were going the entire stream. It was like an hour in before you actually started getting.
It was about an hour. It was about an hour and a half in before I actually really got like pissed. And then
but when you got
pissed,
it was with a higher intensity than most other times you gotten pissed.
Yeah.
Guys, he was banning people in the chat. That's how pissed he was.
They kept making all these damn B jokes, and I'm like, you guys are either going to explain this crap or I'm going to start banning people. And then they kept making more B jokes, and I'm like, you know what? Time out.
And yes, of course I clipped that, but then I was like, he was too mad. I need to let this before I start making fun of him for it. I need to let it.
Let him.
Yes, let him come to me asking for the clips on this one before I just.
Oh no,
Mazin, you were banned.
Yeah, Marvin got
timed out, sir. And,
no.
But see, you didn't say I'm going to start timing people out. You said you will be banned from the channel.
I did, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, that's way too. Even after I said it, I'm like, that's way too hardcore. I'll time people out. That'll
Honestly,
be kind of funny.
After you had that moment, then that seemed to just kind of release all your rage because you were fine from there on out. You didn't like the game anymore, but you weren't pissed anymore.
I didn't like the game from the jump. I'll be honest. Even before I started the stream, I tried it for about 20 minutes before, and I was legitimately just not enjoying the game. I just don't think it's a very fun game. The only reason for me to go through it or try to push through that is just to push through it, just to do it, not to enjoy it, because I don't think I'll ever get to where I enjoy. There might be other Adventure Island games I enjoy. I don't think that's going to be one of them. See what I'm saying?
It's the Adventure Island series. In general, I think is just kind of tough to enjoy if you're already a fan of more complex games, because there's really not a whole lot to it. I would say that Super Adventure Island is probably the easiest one to enjoy.
Right, because it looks like Adventure Island just designed a little bit better and with better graphics.
Yeah, Adventure Island 2 and 3 are also more fun and more interesting than the original, and control so much better than the original.
I mean,
Adventure
if I was going to
Island.
pound my head against a hard game right now, like I've been talking to Thumb Brothers about this, and I can't remember if he popped in for a few minutes or not, but he sent me a bunch of tips for kind of moving forward for Ninja Gaiden, because he's been doing tons of speed runs on that. So that would probably be the next really hard one that I like push through, right?
It's
Either that or try to get at least to Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Mhm.
I don't know that I'll ever beat him, but at least getting to him legitimately would be a good goal to set, right? Those kind of
Ninja
things.
Gaiden is a very accessible hard game just because it's so fair and so predictable. As long as you are doing the same thing every time, the game is also doing the same thing every time. So it's easier just to kind of encase the whole thing in muscle memory, including the final boss fights. So.
And he's always hungry, Panda. Like, if you're not eating everything on the screen, you're just going to run out of time and die.
I did play. I've downloaded New Adventure Island from the Wii U, and I haven't really put a whole lot of time into it, but I did enjoy what I played.
Yeah, and Contra is absolutely like that. Once you start finding like your path, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the optimal path. So long as you're consistent, you can start getting a feel for like when enemies are going to come out, when things are going to happen, how things are going to move, and you can start making adjustments and fight your way through that game. I have proven that already, and I'm not what I consider a good Contra player, and even I was able to pound my way through that game starting with 3 lives. So if I can do that, almost anybody can do it if you'll put the time in. That's the thing.
I don't think you ever let yourself continue also.
I didn't. I
that
did for
was
practice.
hardcore.
I did for practice on a couple runs, but on the run, I did not use continues. That was a 1cc, starting with 3 lives, finish the game. And that was the goal I set for myself. And then even you were like, you sure you don't want to like do 30 lives first?
Well, I mean, just to at least learn the game. There's no shame in doing that. But you're like, and I respected you for it. You did not give yourself any handicaps, and I think you actually learned the game faster because of it. So
yeah, I mean, it took me a couple weeks, but I eventually made progress on it because I would sit down every so often and spend like, it might be 40 minutes, it might be an hour, it might be a couple hours. It depended on where my frustration level was that day. Because some days I could go through it and I could really kind of like burn through the game. I'd get stuck in a spot and I'd kind of keep coming back to it. And a lot of times I wouldn't even continue from where I was at. I would just go back to the beginning of the game and get back there again. And part of the mentality behind that was I wanted to get cleaner at the earlier stages so that I had more resources when I got to that point in the game that I could pound my head against it. And it was more like what I expected my end game to be, right? Mm-hmm. So at some point, I did start using some continues to practice because I was only getting so far doing it that way. But,
and also, for as much as you rage, your celebration is just as intense. So MP has your victory pop off from Contra on his screen.
Ron Moore popped in the chat. Thank you, Ron Moore. How you doing, man? I think we're probably going to start wrapping up here. We've been going for almost 2 hours. You guys have got to get some sleep.
I am tired, but this is extremely great. I mean, Contra's one of those games that if you start and you can finish and you can speed run, you have my utter respect. I
wouldn't say I speed ran it, but I did complete it. right? I did get the full run that way. I don't know if I could do it right now without a few continues, but I was able. Last time I went in and started messing with it, I could get to like stage 4 or 5 with very minimal muscle memory remembrance. Now
That's pretty good.
pushing all the way to 8, that was much harder because I just was not in the groove with it. I had to refine my rhythm. It was kind of like when I started going back to Ninja Gaiden the other day. I was dying a lot on like 2-2. Because that's one of the trickier early end stages, and it comes up really quick in the game.
It does.
And so if you don't find its rhythm, because it has a rhythm, like you don't find your rhythm in it, you find the rhythm for the stage, you're not going to get very far, right? So you have to remember how you adjusted to the rhythm of that stage in order to get through it. And after that, you've got more flexibility in how you approach the stages. That one's very tight as far as its balancing goes and its speed, tempo, when you actually do your attacks and stuff like that to try to get past it. And that was one of the biggest early hurdles. And then the next one was trying to figure out the best way to approach the boss at the end of stage 4. Because I kept getting hit too many times trying to figure out which one of them was the real one, and I never had the spin slash going into it. And my workaround became getting the larger boomerang shuriken, because it'll apparently, I didn't realize this until I did it on accident, and I told Thumb about it. I don't think he knew about it. You can actually kill the fake one in one shot with it. It just explodes. I'm like, because I was messing with it on my Switch, and I'm like, wait, what? That works? That's awesome. That's a great backup plan for me, because then I just have to deal with the real one. I don't have to deal with all the extra projectiles, and I know exactly which one to hit now. It got way easier.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking to like Ron and DLP are talking about the NDRs, Contra and Ninja Gaiden are just great games to start with because they're hard enough that you'll actually immediately just get clout, but also just so accessible in the way that they are just perfectly designed. They're not designed to be easy. They're designed to be fair. There's a difference. Right. So,
and I'm okay with a fair, hard game like Cuphead. I don't get me wrong, I had a couple like raid sessions where I was very frustrated with it, but I knew the game was beatable. Like the whole time I'm beating it, I knew when I died, I knew there was a way to get through that. I knew it wasn't just like BS. I knew there was a way to do it. I just was not finding the right pattern. And eventually I did manage to beat that game, even though I had to kind of cheese King Dice a little bit, because I used a trick where I kind of got into the corner trying to get behind his hand, so I didn't have to do the parry on the cards, because I could not figure out how to do that parry right. And then I saw somebody else do it where they did like a double parry on one of the cards for some of the wider distances, and I'm like, oh crap, that's how you do that, because I couldn't figure that out before. I was just not finding the rhythm on that, and that was a mechanic I didn't have to use a lot, the parry mechanic going through the main game. And that whole fight depends on mastering that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this feels kind of unfair at this point. That was the only point I felt that game was kind of being a little cheap. It's like, you're asking me now to master a mechanic that I didn't have to master through the rest of the game. Why do I now have to master it?
Ooh, Shadow the Ninja.
I didn't even mess with Shadow the Ninja.
It's a really good game, but it's all... I don't know. I thought it was as challenging as Ninja Gaiden, but
Battletoads is another one of those that's like brutal, and I don't know if I like that game well enough to try to push through it.
I don't know if I want to beat it, and I will beat it, but I don't know if I'd say it's necessarily fair at all.
And I know the Turbo Tunnel is the one that I got the most stuck on, and that's the most famous one, but that game gets way harder past that.
Yeah, the Turbo Tunnel is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you have to deal with like the awkward platform mechanics in the next stage, and getting the hang of the collision detection. Like you could jump, and you're meant to jump through spikes as long as you're jumping through with the right part of your sprite, because your hitbox is only in the dead nut center. So your entire legs can pass through spikes, and you'll never take a hit, but and it wants you to make those kind of jumps a lot. Yes, but I mean, the fire level, the I forget what this is called, but the volcano
I
level.
know. We were just talking about you and me trying to make it through Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
harder
really
than
worried about NDRs right now. I just want to beat games. That's all. I'm just looking to beat a game.
Anyway, that's my take on Battletoads.
Yeah, I that's one of those. I'm putting that one way off before I even start to really attempt it because it just.
Right, but let me ask you this on that, and then we probably should wrap up. Battletoads NES or Battletoads arcade?
I've heard the arcade is like way harder, but
so there's one way to find out if you and I don't know, Nick, if it's on PC or not, but you do have an Xbox One.
I do.
Get Rare Replay, because Rare Replay has both the arcade and the NES version.
Yeah, I have Rare Replay, and I've messed with the Viva Pinata games and Perfect Dark on that one, but I haven't really messed with Battletoads.
Both versions of Battletoads are on there.
The ultimate red challenge for 90 gamers or a clumsy pile of hateful trash. You decide. That's fair, Dyer.
Well, and then there, of course, was Battletoads versus Double Dragon.
Yeah, I tried that one a few times on like the Super Nintendo, along with like the Battletoads remake that they did for the Super Nintendo, and I'll be honest, I wasn't really drawn into it. Like the Battletoads game is better as like held up as this lofty goal of like a fun game, but playing it, I'm kind of more in the clumsy pile of hateful trash category with it, because a lot of times it just doesn't feel good to play.
So like, there's a remake that was decent. Did you try out the new version?
I did, and I got to a point on it, and I think I either got frustrated with it or annoyed with it because it kept doing stuff in it that was just like, there was one part where they launched me into the air, and then I kept having to like go into like these different shapes and then come down, and I was just so fed up.
Oh, I remember
with those gimmick sections that I was just like, you know what, I don't care. I'm getting annoyed at having to do this like 8 million times. I've spent like 45 minutes on this, and that was like 2 tries because it's a super long section that I just didn't want to play it anymore. It completely sucked all the joy playing the game out for me.
So I guess Dad Little Podcast meant Symphony of the Night, which is fine because I misread his SOFN anyway. Obviously, Shadow of the Ninja.
That's why I didn't bring it up. I'm like, I don't even know what he's talking about.
Because I looked at it, I was like, oh, because Symphony of the Night was the first thing I thought. I was like, well, hang on, that's an F. So clearly he meant Shadow of the Ninja.
No.
Oh, so that's right. Battletoads is on your list, isn't it? Isn't it, Thumb? I missed your practice the other night because I was like at a concert last night, which is a whole other story. That was the big thing I did this weekend.
What? We didn't get to hear about the concert.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can tell you guys the brief summary of it is like, this concert was in Grand Junction, Colorado, so it's like 4.5 hours away from me. So we've been planning this thing for a while. So we got the tank freshly filled up and everything like that. Took off about an hour and a half in. We pulled off, got something to eat, and then took off. And it took us till from like, we left at 11:30. We didn't get there till like 5:15. Got settled and everything. The concert started at 6 and ran till like 11. It was a great show.
Yeah,
they had two opening bands, one of which I can't remember her name. It was her and a backup band, and that poor lady, she was losing her voice bad, and her band just kind of drowned her out. It wasn't great for her. I think her music's probably pretty good when you can hear her, but I didn't get a great impression because of her voice.
Said the name. It's not Paramore. It's You made a post about who you were sitting down to watch.
Oh yeah, it was the 2 main leading bands were the Pretty Reckless and Hailstorm.
That's what it was. Okay.
And they had an earlier band that came out called The Warning, and these kids started when they were like 12 to 16, and they're just now in like their early 20s. Now I think the youngest one might be just below the age of 20, and they were killer, dude. I was really impressed with them being able to play that well when they're that young. It was just like 3 sisters from Mexico, basically doing like hard rock, borderline metal. I'm like,
Wow.
damn, girls are killing it. You guys are gonna just get better and better if you guys stick around because they were already really impressive. And then Pretty Reckless came out and pretty much just like crushed it, and then Hailstorm did the same thing, and they wrapped up Hailstorm. They did like an hour with the Warning, they did like an hour with the Pretty Reckless, and they did like an hour and a half with Hailstorm, and then the girl before her had like just like 30 minutes or so, but she could barely sing. She was really struggling. Oh, hey, Joby, how you doing? Yeah, we're kind of running a little bit later than we normally run. Normally, we try to cut off a little bit earlier in this because people have to get sleep.
Yeah. Those of us on the East Coast.
What's up, Potion? Good to see you, man. Meatloaf revival? No, not yet. No, Celine Dion. But no, it was a great show. But that drive home, oh my God. Dude, that drive home was a nightmare. So it's like 11 o'clock. It's all mountain roads on like I-70 coming home. And it's super dark. We didn't have anything to drink. I didn't have anything to eat on the road home. I didn't get to drink that much while I was at the concert because I was afraid of like having to stop like 8 million times or having no place to stop on the way home to go to the bathroom. So I was trying to take it light on everything. So we didn't get home. I didn't get into my house until like 3:30 in the morning. And then I immediately went down. I immediately went to the daughter off the restroom, came downstairs, and pounded back like a glass and a half of like ice cold water because I was so dehydrated. The only time I've ever given myself brain freeze from water. And then down like a glass of like sweet tea, and then crashed until like I couldn't sleep past like 9:30 or so. So I was kind of running on fumes all day today. So
Pain is like, was it peach sweet tea?
No. I don't do lemon or any of that crap. It's like sugar, water, tea bags, done. That's it. That's all I do with my sweet tea. So
yeah, I can't do 3:30 either.
Yeah, I'm not real big on like a lot of flavors in sweet tea. It's just not my jam. Now mint works really well. I've done mint before. That's pretty
raspberry.
Good.
Raspberry.
I'm not big on raspberry, so that's not my thing.
I could do raspberry.
More bathroom stories. Way too old for 3:30 a.m. Dude, I was still kind of, I was fine when I first woke up, and then as the day got on, I was kind of dragging more and more and more. This kind of perked me up a little bit, but I'm probably gonna have about 30-40 minutes, and I'm gonna crash hardcore.
I'm yawning and it's 12:30. There's no way
I was so nervous on the drive back. I've got like a 10-2 like death grip going through those mountain roads, not just because it's pitch black with no lights anywhere, just my headlights. Half the people on the road are like back and forth on the lane, either because they're drunk and going home from the concert, or they're super tired and they may as well be drunk. And then you got the people going, I've got this, and they're blowing past you doing like 95. And a diesel truck going past even my car at 95. I'm going, oh my God, what are you doing?
Well, that'll keep you awake on the drive home.
Oh, though. It was nerve-wracking, dude. Like, no joke.
That'll keep you awake.
And it was exhausting by the end of it because I had 220 miles on I-70. Just straight on I-70, like almost 150 miles of it windy mountain roads. I was so ready to be off that road. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to do this. I'm done. My buddy was like, no more road trips after this. I'm like, yeah, no, not for a while.
I mean, it's not, like you were, I don't know, driving through the Poconos.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad. I think the next way, if we do something like that again, what I'll do is we'll probably go up there either the day of or the day before, get a hotel room, see the concert, stay in the hotel room that night, and then leave the next day. Because the drive during the daylight was gorgeous. It was a beautiful drive up. It was a beautiful day to drive. It was just a joy to drive up there. It was the trip back that was awful. And it's because it was in the dark with like a bunch of like tired and drunk people. And I just, no, not fun. We should wrap up. Any last words from anybody?
thanks for coming and sharing our birthday celebration stream with us, guys.
This one was extra long.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for hanging out with us for a year.
Genovi, I went from Aurora to Grand Junction and back. So it was like 9 hours of driving. It was a long day. And thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. This would not be nearly as much fun as if it was just us. It's pretty much you guys derailing us and getting us in all sorts of shenanigans that makes this show fun and keeps us coming back. It's absolutely a blast. Every time we come on here, we look forward to it every other week. Even nights where I'm like half asleep and all I want to do is curl up in my bed and go to bed, I drag myself on here because I know it's going to be fun. And it's going to be fun hanging out with you, with these guys, and with all of you. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here for the past year. And we're looking forward to keeping doing this. So this isn't going anywhere.
No.
So thank you guys so much for being the show, basically.
Yeah, this is it's a great place to come and I think, as I had always said, it's a place where, you know, I can kind of spread my retro wings a little bit, you know, the stuff that I don't get to talk about on NLG because there's not a lot of, you know, nostalgia to talk about there. So I get all of my good nostalgia here.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I was typing some stuff to Genovi, he's actually really close to this area, so he knows a lot of these roads. So he knows the unpleasantness of driving out late at night.
And thank you for being a part of the community. It was
absolutely
cool to have you just kind of pop up out of nowhere and then literally be in everyone's streams. That's why I always joke that you were like Carla the Ubiquitous because you were everywhere, or omnipotent, I believe is what I called you. Omnipotent. That's the right pronunciation. Yeah, so absolutely. I'm glad that we got through that little bit of drama.
There's still some of that on my end of things because I still hang out
with
people
do what he wants
that
now.
Have some issues, but I don't let it bleed out anywhere else because I'm keeping friends with people because I like hanging out with people. I don't want to bring it anywhere else. I'm going to treat everybody the way I've treated them. That's just how I plan on doing it. If people don't like it, then we'll have a talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm open to talking about it, but I'm not necessarily interested in going into any drama. I've got plenty of that. I don't want more.
Yeah. Have kids. That'll help. That'll help you with the drama.
Yeah.
So yeah, Carla, I love you to death. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you've become a part of the community. I do what I can to kind of support you guys. It's always a joy when you guys can come and hang out and spend some time with me. I know everybody's busy. I can't always follow everybody's channels. There's tons of your channels I miss for tons of time at a period of time. And I hate it. And then I try to catch up on some of it quickly because there's just so many great people in the community that it's really hard to keep up with all the amazing content that you guys do. It really is. There's some outstanding creators that are always in the chat.
Yeah,
or pop in the chat occasionally, and you guys do outstanding work.
One of them,
it's so hard to keep a top.
One of them is now illegally on a channel pause. One of them has illegally paused his channel. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
What?
Well, because he wants to take it to the next level. So
he's trying to give us a little bit of time to get the idea that we might catch up, and then dash all our hopes. Complete with maniacal laughter. We record on Mondays. We took a break tonight.
Nice.
Hey, man, I'm glad you were able to make it.
I'm glad you're here too.
Yeah.
We do this like every other week. I've been trying to pop up in more people's areas and stuff like that.
I gotta
jump on one of the streams. The weekend is usually easier for me to do stuff like that, quite frankly.
But Carla, it's typically going to be. You have when I have said over and over and over.
That's all Mike talks about is Fall Guys.
That's because it's what we've been playing the last couple of weeks. We don't even.
I can't get into the bad jumping jelly beans. I'm sorry.
We don't even want to. Like, I think we're gonna do it again tomorrow. I don't. It's summertime, which means we through Discord.
Yeah, they actually use the Xbox Live voice chat. They all get in a voice chat.
Yeah. And so you just come into our party.
Yeah,
I know
they
you
just
have an
bring you
Xbox.
into the party, and then everybody can all talk at the same time.
Yeah. And if you're on PC, you can get the Xbox app and get into the party.
Yeah,
So
it actually
many
works
ways
really
to do it.
seamlessly. Microsoft's done a really brilliant job of making sure that people on console and people on PC can voice communicate and join into games pretty seamlessly.
Yeah.
They've done an amazing job of blending those two ecosystems together.
Right now, there's just not a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're not like a fanboy console war podcast, so we don't have.
See, with the Series S, you'd be fine. You just jump
into
the voice chat
absolutely.
with them, and it's perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
You'd be right in.
Yep. So what we've been doing lately, because there's really not much to talk about, if you're not doing console war, I hate Sony, I hate Xbox, we've been playing games and just chatting. And I got an upgraded PC from, not new, but upgraded from what I had before. So tomorrow night, we are going to take the attempt of having all of us on Skype like we would normally do for a show, but we're probably going to play Fall Guys tomorrow. So Carla, when we're on, because you've been there before, all you have to do is jump in the chat. And in fact, if I can get 4 players can play if we do the trial, if we just do the straight multiplayer.
No, it didn't.
If I can get,
Did you not see me smile? I was like,
if I can get 10 people to come and play tomorrow night, I can do custom matches. But I need 10. So I can either do 4, or I need 6 more if we all want to play. So bring friends tomorrow night.
I think he was hoping you'd cut Mike off with it. So. I'm just glad that Mike has such exciting gear tonight.
So I know I could not do anything with this, and somewhere in the house my yarmulke fell off. So I'm like I'm naked in the head.
Maybe that's why his hair went so crazy. It's not being restrained by the yarmulke anymore, so it can just go crazy.
Yes, it is just popping out. And yes, Cyrus, someone actually did ask me the other day, "Are you sick?" Because I have lost all this weight, and they haven't seen the inner frame.
Glistening abs yet?
Yes, not yet. Well, I don't have
haven't messed with multiverses yet. That could be another fun one for you guys to stream and beat each other up on.
I had thought about getting multiverses. Or like
Yamaha.
There you go.
All right, we're going to end it on that. I'm going to leave that. That's the comment of the night. Thank you, everybody, for popping in. We are absolutely going to end the stream because I want to see my wife again tonight. I need to get some sleep. Everybody else needs to get sleep. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to another year. And good night.